ज्ञानमूलं गुरुर्मूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुपरं मन्त्रमूलं वर्णानां रतसंगानां रसानां चन्द्रसामपि मङ्गलानां चकरतारो वन्दे वाणी विनायको भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वास्वरूपिणो याभ्यं विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्ध स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरो वन्दे बोधमयं नित्यं गुरुं शङ्कररूपिणं यमस्त्रितो हि वक्रोऽपि चन्द्र सर्वत्र वन्द्यते सीतारामगुणग्राम पुण्यारण्यविहारिणो वन्दे विशुद्धविज्ञानो कवीश्वरकपीश्वरो उर्भव स्थितिसंहार कारिणीं क्लेशहारिणीं सर्वश्रेयस्करीं सीतां नतोऽहं रामवल्लभा यन्मायावशवर्ति विश्वमखिलं ब्रह्मादिदेवासुरा यत्सत्पद्रमशैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यत्तारेर्ब्रह्मः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवान् भोदेष्टितीर्षावतां वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम् नानापुराण निगमागमसम्मतं यद् रामायणे निगदितं क्वचिदन्यतोऽपि स्वान्तसुखाय तुलसीरघुनाथगाथा भाषानिबन्धमतिमञ्जुलमातनोति भाषानिबन्धमतिमञ्जुलमातनोति ॐ श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम सियापति रामचंद्र की जय वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Sit down everyone. Namaste and welcome to this evening's Satsang. All of you who are here and those who are joining via the live stream. We apologize for the late start, but as you know, there's lots of inclement weather and the traffic situation has not yet been thought up as to how we can survive simple issues like when a tree falls on the lady. So until that time, we have to bear with these keepbacks. Nevertheless, we're here for Satsang, and this is, I believe, the 5th night of our nightly memorial Satsangs, and it is both an honor and a privilege to be able to join with you here at the home and virtually for those who are looking on via the live stream. This evening's Satsang comes from the glorious pages of the Tulsidas Ramayana, Ramcharitamanas, and this is a book that the go-to text for many readings, for many Satsangs. In short, long ago, when our forefathers came here from India, the part of India they came from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, that those states were predominantly Ramanandis, meaning they were a sect of Vaishnavas, which means those who follow Mahavishnu, Lord Sri Mahavishnu. As you know, there are many different denominations within Hinduism. Some believe in Divine Mother Goddess, those are Shakti worshippers. Some believe in Bhagwan Shiva, whose very, very special weekend is coming up, the Shivaratri. Devotees who worship the Divine Mother are called Shaktas. Those who worship Bhagwan Shiva are called Shaivas. But those who worship and follow the doctrines and the teachings of most adored manifestations is that of Bhagwan Sri Ram. And why is he so adored? Is because amongst all the 10 great avatars or manifestations of Mahavishnu, he who is the preserver of the creation, Ramchandra was the very first one who came on earth and lived just like mankind. Before that, in the great incarnation known as the avatars, it is believed that he came as a fish, a giant tortoise, a boar, a half man, half lion, a dwarf, and many other incarnations. But those episodes, he simply came on earth, did his job and left. Bhagwan Ramchandra was the very first incarnation to live on earth as a man. He came as a baby. He was born in the palace of Ayodhya under King Dasharath and Rani Kausalya's household. And because of that, he grew up as a little child. He became a young man and was married. He was the prince and then the king of Ayodhya, had kids and all these things. So verily, his way of life became the example, the handbook, as you were, for living, how to be a good sibling, how to be a good brother, king, friend, everything, father, husband, all that. Therefore, the poetry which documents the Leela or the activities of Rama has been adored by all those who live in the north and northeastern parts of India. If the boat that took our ancestors came from the south, all of us would have been Madrasi and would have been taller, broad shoulder, strong, dark, and have thick straight hair. And we'd all be worshipping Divine Mother Durga like that. But we came from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, which means that we are Ramanandis. We follow the teachings of Guru Ramanandacharya. That's why long ago in puja you have heard Ramanand Swami Ki Jai. But that's gonna stop now. Because Guru Ramanandacharya believed so much in every single thing that Ramchandra did. He made everyone to follow the teachings of the Ramayana, written by Valmiki Maharaj in Sanskrit and then in the Bhasha, the Hindi language, by Tulsidas. If you go to central India, they believe in Bhagavatam and Gita and all these things. Different states believe in different texts. All one and the same, as you all know, just like all the rivers lead to the same ocean. But because the people from that time, when they were taken from India and they came on the boat in crossing the Kalapani, some had the books with them in their heads. And for those who knew parts of the story, they would console each other in the barracks after cutting the cane. And one person would know one part of the story, another would tell another part of the story. And in so doing, they consoled each other in thinking and in believing, if Ramchandra could have overcome his difficulties, then why can't we? And then amongst all of the episodes, everyone knows, as you look at Ram Leela and all these things, when Ramchandra met Hanuman, the entire story changed. Hanuman became the fulcrum that changed the balance of the story. He became the catalyst. And he became the epitome of servitude, of devotion, of bravery, of courage. And many scholars argue the point, if Ramchandra had never met Hanuman, he'd never have found Sita. He'd never have built the bridge. He could have never found Lanka and destroyed Ravan. Therefore, our ancestors who knew the book by heart, after some time taught each other and chanted parts of the Ramayana and chanted Hanuman Chalisa. So today, for example sake, I have chosen to do a few verses from Ram Charitramanas. Boliye Sri Siyapati Ramachandra ki I hope this is okay with you. Like I said, we have just have about an hour and 10 minutes again. Alright, so I'll try to be concise. There are two specific episodes I want to discuss here today. But as per the rule of reading Ramayana, there's a Sumiran, which is the invocation I have to chant. And allow me to chant one bhajan to Lord Sri Mahaganapati to remove all obstacles and to ask for a clear path ahead in today's satsang. The song though, the bhajan, says Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandan. It is actually the same prayer which was put to music afterwards. It was a prayer actually. It is a prayer that Tulsidas, the saint, he wrote this song, this prayer first before writing the Ramayana. He made this prayer to Bhagwan Ganesh and asking for his blessing in a sense. So, in the same way that Tulsidas wrote this before he wrote any of the verses of Ramayana, before we chant any verses of Ramayana, we sing this very same bhajan, Gaiye Ganapatiye Jagavandan. I sing the glories of Mahaganapati. He who is the son of Bhagwan Shankar and Devi Mata. Shankar Suvan Bhavani Nandana, Shankar Suvan Bhavani Nandana, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana, Shankar Suvana Bhavani Nandana, Shankar Suvana Bhavani Nandana, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana. Siddhi Sadan Gaj Vadana Vinayak, Siddhi Sadan Gaj Vadana Vinayak, Kripa Sindhu Sundar Sablayak, Kripa Sindhu Sundar Sablayak, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana. Modak Priya Mud Mangal Data, Modak Priya Mud Mangal Data, Vishwa Vinayak Buddhi Vidata, Vishwa Vinayak Buddhi Vidata, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana, Gaiye Ganapati Jagavandana. मांगत तुलसीदास कर चोरे, मांगत तुलसीदास कर चोरे, मांगत तुलसीदास कर चोरे, मांगत तुलसीदास कर चोरे, बस ही राम सिय मानस मोरे, बस ही राम सिय, बस ही राम सिय, बस ही राम सिय, बस ही राम सिय, बस ही राम, बस ही राम सिय मानस मोरे, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन, शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन गाइए गाइए गण गाइए गण गाइए गणपति जगवंदन वंदन महागणपति स्वामी की जय। Why did Ramanand Swami choose Ramayana? Because he's a Vaishnava and there are many other manifestations including Bhagavan Krishna as well as Mahavishnu himself. So the predominant text was firstly Bhagavad Mahapuran or Vishnu Puran. But that was only kept for big events. A long time we never had Ramayana Yagya, never had Gita Yagya, it had Bhagavad. When you had big satsangs, when you put up shed and they bring out the bandhara pot, all you could have was Bhagavad. And the sadhu or the acharya had to wear full white and tie their heads and all these things and do a special fast. Only now Pandits have become lazy and have chosen to read simpler versions. Because in the invocation, the last verse says, Bhasha Nibandha Matimanjula Matanoti. I, Tulasi, am rewriting this great book in my own language for my own comfort. The original Valmiki Ramayana is in Sanskrit. It is 24,000 verses long. This Tulsi-krit or the Tulsi written Ramayana is 11,900 verses long. Half. Bhasha Nibandha Matimanjula Matanoti. I, Tulsidas, for my own comfort, I am rewriting this great epic for the people of my time to understand. And again, our ancestors didn't speak Sanskrit, they spoke Awadhi, and that was further broken down to Bhojpuri. That's how Ram Prasad became Ram Prasad. And then if you shift across to Guyana, it became Ram Prasad. Dialect, no change in the words. It's just how the language differences. Suriname, they say their country's name without the I sometimes. This is Suriname. They have a special way they speak. You try to keep up with their language, you get lost really, really quick. They speak way faster than us. So, Bhagavad Mahapuran was the great text. But why did Ramanandacharya choose Ramayana? You see, because nowhere else God came and taught with his own actions. In every part of the Ramayana, every chapter, for children you go Balkand. Bal means baby. How to raise kids there. How to survive as middle age, middle of the book. How to survive your later years, last part of the book. Bhagwan Shiva was the very first person to discuss Ramayana. When Devi Parvati had asked him, Prabhu, why it is that Mahavishnu has to go again and again and again on the earth to save the people? Isn't there some way, somehow, some place, some situation where they can be told what to do? How can they not be told the right thing? Bhagwan Shiva says, there is such an episode. If you wish to listen, I will tell you. And the very first telling of the Ramayana was from Bhagwan Shiva to Devi Parvati. Afterwards, it was told again to Kakushun, the Garuji, Bharadwaj, and many of the great saints. It is said that by the telling and the retelling of the ancient Ramayana, in every aspect of the teachings, it can be applied to every single day in our lives. Before we enter into an episode that is very similar to what we have in the house today, in the home today, please bow your heads as we chant the Ramayana Sumiran. Jahi sumirat siddhi ho, गणनायक करे बद बदन करो अनुग्रह सो बुद्धि राशि शुभ गुण सदन मुख होई पाचाल बंधु हृदय गिरि पर गहना जासु कृपा सुदया द्रव सकल कलिमन दहन नील सरोवर करुण सो अरण मर्ज नयन कर ओसो मम पुरधाम सदा क्षीर सागर सयन कुंद इंदु समदेह कुमार मन करुणा अयन जाहि दीन परनेह करो कृपा मर्दन मयन बंदो गुरु पर कंज कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि महामोहतम पो जास बचन रवि करने कर जासु वचन रवि करने कर जासु वचन रवि करने कर। सियापति रामचंद्र की जय. Bowing our heads again and again to Maryada Purushottam Ramchandra, he whose very life is the example that Tulsidas wants all of us to live by. He also went through the pangs of separation and the feeling of distress. Because as you all know in the story, all of you here know the entire Ramayana story, yes? More or less, beginning to end. Anybody here doesn't know it besides the baby? Don't feel shame. Don't know the whole story? Okay, we have time. So, once upon a time, there was a king who had 3 wives. King's name was Dashrath. Say that. Dashrath. See, when you say things, you remember. So the king, Dashrath, had 3 wives. Kausalya, say, Sumantra, Kaikeyi. After some time, the king and his 3 queens had 4 boys, whose names you know. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan. These boys were married, and because of a promise that Raja Dashrath had given to Kaikeyi Mata, she asked for that promise, which meant that instead of Ramchandra being the eldest boy be put on the throne, she wanted her son Bharat put on the throne. That happened, that promise was given, but because of that, Rama had to be sent to the forest for 14 years. When that happened, in Tular and all these things, King Dashrath was so attached to Rama that he literally gave up his breath, his last breath, in wishing he never sent his son away. After that, Rama, Lakshman and his wife Sita, Rama's wife Sita, went to the forest for their 14 years. In that time, they met lots of people, Shabari, they met Sutikshan, they met Valmiki, they met all these different good people. Until at one point in time, it was news that the beautiful wife of Rama, Sita, Janak's daughter, was alone in the forest with just Rama and Lakshman, not the entire army of Ayodhya to protect them. This became news for Ravan, king of Lanka, who came and disguised as a golden deer with the help of his uncle Marich, distracted Rama and Lakshman, abducted Sita, and took in his aerial chariot known as Pushpaka Viman, or the airplane of long time, and took it to Lanka across the seas. Rama and Lakshman had to try and find Sita. Walking through vast plains and savannas, they came across the mountainous kingdom of Kishkindha, ruled by King Sugriv, whose chief minister is the Great One, the immortal, the actual manifestation of Bhagwan Shiva on the earth, known as Anjaneya Swami, Lord Sri Hanuman. Because of his greatness, He was able to get to the tip of the land by the seashore, cross the ocean, find Mother Sita in Lanka, burn the place to ashes, come back and report to Ramchandra, I have found the Dulahin. And the preparations were made. They came to the end of the seashore, built a bridge with the blessing of the sea god, Sagar, came across to Lanka. They negotiated first. That fell apart, as you would expect. And there was a war, the great Yuddha. And Ravan, Kumbhakarna, Meghnad, Indrajit, Pulastya, and all these great ones were vanquished. When that happened, Sita Devi was rescued and brought back to India, to Ayodhya. Lanka, with the demise of Ravan, was given, the kingship was given to the second brother, Vibhishan, the good one. And after some time, Bhagwan Ramchandra, Devi Mata Sita lived a happy life for a bit, until afterwards, when they had two kids whose name were Love and Kush. Ramchandra gave the entire kingdom to both of his sons, and Love ruled from a place which is now present-day Lahore, which is in Pakistan, and Kush ruled from a place called Kashmir, which still exists to this day. After that, some time passed, Ramchandra ruled the place justly. He decided it was time for him to leave. He went on the banks of the Saryu river, and by putting his foot in the beautiful water there, he returned into his form of Lord Sri Mahavishnu. All the gods and goddesses who came down on the earth to be part of the Leela also went back to heaven, except Lord Hanuman. When Hanuman Swami was about to put his foot into the water and return to his form as Bhagwan Shiva, Rama stopped him and said, "Son, your work is not done. You wait here and take care of all my children. Look over everybody. No matter what they do in this lifetime, find a way, bring them to me. And if it is that their karma has to work out in such a way, we'll send them back again and again and again. But take care of this planet. This earth is yours to take care of, because all my children are here. Rama Duware Tumara Kavari." He is the gatekeeper of Rama, of the heavens itself. And that, Uncle Ken, is the entire book. Siyapati Ramachandra ki Jai. So, here now, in the middle, like I told you right here, Ramchandra had to be sent to the forest because Kaikeyi Mata wanted a boon fulfilled. Raja Dasrath, he was on his bed and literally breathing his last. His thoughts were merged with Ramchandra, and his soul attained moksha. Tulsidas Maharaj says that all preparations were made for the sending off of the king. Chandan yagar bar bahu aaye, Chandan yagar bar bahu aaye, Amit anek sugandh suhaye, Sarayur rachi chitta banayi, Janav surarpur supan suhayi, Ehi bidi dah kriya sab kini, Bidvat nahai tilan jalni dini, Sore sumirti sab peda purana, Kin Bharat das gat bidana, Jahan jasa Samuni paraya sudina, tas sahas bhati sabkina, bhai vichudha diye sabdana, venu baji gajban nana, Sri Ram Sita Rama, Sita Rama, Sri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sita Rama, Sita Rama, Sita Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. When the pyre was made out of chandan, all beautiful smelling wood, and the fire was lit for 10 days, offerings of the water and the till known as Tilanjali were made. When everyone left the banks of the river and the ashes were spread across the river, up until the 10th day known as Das Ghat. Das means 10, Ghat means at the bank of the river. In Trinidad we call it the shaven. I forget these words because it's not the correct thing. They call it the shaving puja. Why? Because you gotta shave your head before you sit for the puja. Why? Because two things. One, cleanliness. And then two, the second thing is that your nails are cut and your head is shaved. Why? Because all of the emotions and all the feelings pervade your body for this entire time. Every day you always get up and have the thoughts again and again of maybe his last days, his last performance, the events here at the NCI Srinagar and everything else people will keep bringing up. Your hair follicles and your nail follicles are made up of dead cells. So these are past cells, which means you remove everything that would have had that sort of energy. So the body is cleansed to a point. So because you got to shave your head for the 10-day puja, we call it head shaving. It's called the Dash Ghat. See that? Dash means 10, Ghat means at the bank of the river. Good. Hopefully in time to come, everybody will be saying Dash Ghat, Dash Ghat, Dash Ghat. And then on the 13th day, Salim, what's the puja name? Wrong. It's the Vishnu Trayodash Srad. Why we get the word Bandhara from? See, Bandharai means chief, chef, head cook, Bandhari. So the Bandhari would have brought their Bandhara pots. Bandhara means cook in a big way. So long time, not everybody had to cook like this. Only who you hired, right? So that's when you go like by Raj and Passes Asia, you know, only he has the big tandoor for the naan and that kind of thing. All of us not gonna buy a brick oven to make naan. No, you go by Raj. Go by Tandoori King. So long time, when you had big puja and big yajnas and thing, you call the Bandhari and they bring all their pots and they cook. When they finish, they go back with it. So the Bandhari is the head chef, the head cook. They would do the seasoning and the salt and everything, and then they put them in a spot like this here, and they'll close this spot. And only the Bandhari stays here with all the big pots, and they decide how much food goes out in batches for the people. No one touches the food except the head cook, because they will know if the chana going down or pumpkin going down, and they will go and tell the other sous chefs to cook more food. Nobody in front knows if food finished or not. As well as only the head cook dishes out the takeaway boxes and that kind of thing, which could only happen on the Bandhara day anyway, not on the shaving day. Okay, that's besides everything. So, Dash Gata Kina Bharata Dashagata Bidhana. Remember, Ramchandra and Lakshman were in the forest with Sita. So who's the head now? Bharat. He performed the 10 days worship. Jahan Jasa Muni Bara, all the saints and sages came there. In the same way that a couple days ago, every single musician and artist and everybody were all present because they came to pay their respects to one of their own. And not just one of their own, literally, in my mind and everybody else's, one of the greatest of the art form of Bollywood music. And because it was the king, and because they came from the dynasty of the Raghukul clan, all the saints and sages came to bid their farewell. You know, like when a mic man dies, how many, what, a dozen mic on card as we going on the road, and if a Tassa man passes, level Tassa, good. So just like that, That's why we had so many distinguished people and so many distinguished voices lending their support for the past couple days and nights. Singhasan Bhushana Bhasana Anadharani Dhanadham. The Doha says, Diye Bharata Lahi Bhumi Sura Be Pari Puranakam. Many things were given as gifts. And when after everything was done, when all the chairs pack up and the tents and everything go, and you have time for yourself, and that is the most important time. Same way, I'm going to sit here and speak to you, and other pundits will do the same. At that time, when all the ceremonies were done, Pitu Hita Bharate Kina Jase Karani, So Mukha Laka Jai Nahi Bharani. Everything was done. It couldn't have been done more than 100 times over. So well executed, everything took place. Bharat came now to the main chamber. And the guru of the house, Sage Vashisht, was also there. Two of them alone. And the sage asks Bharat, why do you look like this? Why do you seem so dejected? Baite Raj Sabha Sabachai. Raj Sabha, the place of the kings. Bharat and Shatrughan, the two brothers, were there. And Vashishta spoke to him. Said, why it is you look so dejected? As far as I can remember, the sage is telling to Bharat, every single thing was done well. The ceremony was done well. You performed all the rites of the 10 days. You did all the offerings. All the gifts were given and all that. What is wrong? To which Bharat had to reply that everything is a problem. And this is why I tell you, Ramayana, amongst everything else, Rama, his very life, he's not even there. But the katha that happens in his absence is applicable to us here. And to everybody in the family and everybody who knows when these things happen, it says that everything hurts and everything is a reminder. Bharat says that the halls remind me of my father. The gardens remind me of him. Each room I can hear his laughter. Every place I go, I can see his face. In the city, I see King Dashrath. In every individual, every person in the town, in the state, I can see my father's face reflected because he lived for the people and he lived amongst the people. He lived because of the people. Everybody was happy because of how he ruled Ayodhya. Ayodhya actually means the place where there is no war. Yuddha means war. Ayodhya means where there is no war, which means Ayodhya, the name itself means the most peaceful place ever. Imagine that. You live in a place where the king has ensured that this is the most peaceful place ever. Many scholars also say, because of the giving of the boon, only when Rama and Sita had to leave Ayodhya, which was so well fortressed and protected, only when they had to leave, that Ravan could have kidnapped Sita and all these things. If he had only tried to cross the walls of Ayodhya, nothing could have happened. But then again, Yada Yadahi Dharamasya Glanar Bhavati Bharata. Bhagavad Gita says that for the protection of the good and the destruction of the wicked, I will come again and again. There had to be some reason, some little episode. Ramachandra, Mahavishnu couldn't just come on earth and go and just kill Ravan. It will be an act of terrorism, like what happens in the world today. You just can't go invade a country and kill somebody. He had to have some 2x4 reason. So they went out knowing these things were going to happen. Went out into the forest, and then Ravan with his fly-by-night plan abducted Sita, and now Rama had a reason to go and rescue his wife, but eventually end up killing Ravan. And then he made the declaration of Bhagavad Gita to come true. Abhyuthanam adharmasya Thiratmanam jujamyaham pritranaya sadhunam vinashchaya chadushritam dharma sansthapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. O Arjun, I will come again and again, age after age, time after time, I will take care of my people. The king made Counsel, the city, to be called Ayodhya, where there is no war. Bharat says, O sage, I cannot stay in this place. phone. This way. It's not my phone, it's your phone. No. It is your phone. It's Narish phone. Siyapati Ramachandra ki Jai. When Bharat laid his heart out like this, which is very, very similar to what is going to happen here in this house, and by extension to his band, his team of brothers, his musical team, how do we go about all this? Before I give you the response that Sage Vashisht gave to Bharat, which indirectly is for all of us, join me in this wonderful bhajan. Sundar Kundan Nayana Vishala Gale Sohe Vaijantimala Gale Sohe Vaijantimala Ya Chaviki Balihari Ya Chaviki Balihari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Jai Keshav Kalimalihari Jai Keshav Kalimalihari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Kabhu lut dhari khayo Kabhu madhuvan ras rachayo Kabhu madhuvan ras rachayo Nachat vipin bihari Nachat vipin bihari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Gwal bal Bheem chirayo Gwal bal Bheem chirayo Ban ban brahmat pire yadurayo Ban ban brahmat pire yadurayo Kande kamar kari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Jai Keshav Kalimalihari Jai Keshav Kalimalihari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Jai Madhav Madan Murari Jai Madhav Madan Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. So Sage Vashisht, he began to speak. And this advice I wish for all of us to not just listen, make some mental notes. If you wish, I can send you maybe a picture of this page. I'll send it to Salim and you'll share it to the family. I also have it on documents on Google. I can always screenshot the page and actually I'll post it to my page tomorrow on the Facebook page, so everybody can see and read for themselves, word for word, what the Guru has chosen to advise. And Tulsidas Maharaj says, Sage Vashisht in his grand wisdom spoke to Bharat and Shatrughan. जो भेद बीना दजनी जधर विषय लयलीना सोचिए निपति जुनीत जिजीना जहीन प्रजा प्रिय प्राण समाना अस विचारी कहीं देय दोषु व्यारत करे पर कीजिन रोषु तात विचारु करहु मन माही सोच जोगु दशरथ मृदु नारी श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय सियापति रामचंद्र की जय. Lesson number 1. Don't cry. As you feel after the sentence, don't cry for the king, because the king has done exactly what he was put on this earth to do. Now, your first argument to me, which is moot, will be like, the king lived to a grand old age and he had his 3 wives and his 4 sons and he got them married and etc. Still, it is not for us as actors on a stage to question the director. In a play, the director has set lines and set pieces, set scenes for actors to go through. There are many, many costumes in the wardrobe behind, backstage, and only a fixed number of actors. As an actor, you are chosen by the director, not so? It's his play. You're chosen by whoever's in charge. You're given lines to learn because you're a good actor. You're given a costume to wear because you're a good actor, a good dancer, a good singer, a good orator. But as per the written script of the director, when one scene or act is done, do you stand in stage and say, Anna, come on? No, you know, because as part of everything, when the director says cut, you come backstage, you simply change your costume, you change your clothes, and the same actor goes back out in fresh makeup and fresh everything, and the audience doesn't know the difference. That's what you call a good production, good play. You see, God is a director. This world is a stage. All of humanity is the audience. We are the actors, all our souls. And all of us here is just one costume. The soul is the actor, and the body is the costume. Many, many costumes are there in my Father's house. Many, many costumes await all of us in our Father and Mother's home in the heavens, in the paradise. In our Father's house, the great mansion, there are many, many rooms. All of us have a resting place. In the garden of paradise itself, there's a place of shade under every tree for every soul, every angel, every child of God. Back to the play. Do you question, as the audience even, why doesn't one actor have more time than the other? No, because the play has to continue, the play has to go on. Puranapi maranam, Puranapi charanam. Bhagavad Bhajagovindam says, Samprate sannihite kali nahi nahi rakshati dukran karni. We can't say when that time is. But now, seeing the similarity. Raja Dashrath lived a long life. He had wife, sons, they got married. Good. He left a lasting legacy. And just imagine, up until this day, how many thousands of years afterward, we are still chanting the name of his son. Ram, Ram, Ram. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Take courage, all of us, in knowing that our brother's work in the eyes of the Lord was fully well done. We may want to have him longer, to do more shows and more everything. But in the eyes of God, it couldn't have been done better. And every other performer and artist will tell you, amongst all the singers we've had in our industry, nobody could touch Bheem. I remember in Simplex, there was a Valentine's show. Sometime, either Valentine's or Mother's Day, and it was Dilina Dan and Beamers and Karma, I think, and he was last. And when time to go on, there was some issues with the keyboards or the machines or whatever, and he said time was going, he has to start. And Bheem sang for about 10-15 minutes with the mic in his hand, him alone, just the voice. And he was just checking backstage, get it fixed, and he just tapping his feet. And he sang a good few of his older songs. And the crowd were just singing with him, swinging their hands left to right. And by the time the music was ready to come on, and I kid you not, when the music was ready to come on, people in the crowd said, no, just keep singing, just the band was ready. And they said, no, it's alright, just keep going, just and for a good half an hour. This is when Simplex was just redone, just a couple of years ago, not the old Simplex, the new one. Nobody else could do what he did. So take courage in knowing that there are no faults in the body of work, and there are no defects in what he has left for all of us. I can say from now that generations to come, you see the same way singers nowadays, they play back old recordings of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who also died young. I'm sure in 50 years from now, young ones, when they want to learn how to sing, they'll say, pull up any of Anil Bheem's songs. How to stand there and sing all the words. And what I so loved about him was his pronunciation. He would make sure and take his time, learn the words, and say everything. And sometimes we'd be sitting stage side, he'd watch me, I'd watch him. He's like, you hearing all the words? I said, he asked me, that man know all the words? I said, He's like, when you go up, make sure and sing the whole song. And he would sing everything in such a way that you can Listen to him and learn the song. He was such a wonderful orator and had such wonderful control that is why that even though he has gone in our minds too soon, it says, Asabichari kehi deya dosu Bharatakahi parakije. Don't cry because your father, O Bharat, the king, is not to be pitied. He lived a complete and full life, a life which in his time that he was here, he established all that he could do. He put himself in such a place that people knew from a distance, kingdoms very, very far away knew of the greatness of Raja Dasara. Please tie in your minds everything I'm saying about Raja Dasara to Raja Bheem. He cemented himself in such a way that everybody knew his name and his good reputation preceded him. He was respected by every one of his kings in neighboring and far kingdoms and was welcomed everywhere he went. Even those who were once his enemy became his friend. As it was for the great King Raja Dasara, I'm sure it was the same way for our king here. Pity those who don't know kindness, because the king knew kindness and he gave whatever he could. Pity those who don't give. Pity those who have no compassion. Pity those who lie, those who steal, those who make others cry. Pity those who make their parents cry. Pity those who are supposed to be giving of their services in the name of God and charge for their services. Now all you can say to Baba, showing words to people. Hold on. It says here in Ayodhya Khan. Shane, you can see this here? You can flip it after, right? Good. See here, it says in yeah. Ayodhya Khan. See? Zoom in. Good. So Chiya Bipra. It's in English as well. Good. Jo Beda Bihina Taja Nija Dharamu Visaya Laya Linha. And in English is here. Pity those Brahmins who sell the scriptures. And go on. So I'll screenshot this and send it. See? Good. I like when I could give you exactly where. Also it's Ayodhya Khan. The Doha is 1 Chaupai number 2 after Doha 181. If you go anywhere on the internet, wherever, and find this, it'll say the same thing. Pity the holy ones who sell the scriptures, who demand the price of what they do. You're not supposed to. No one of us, my Guru Sadguru and Keshav Das, and even all the Pandits who taught me here. When I went to Chinmaya Mission to learn Vedic chanting and Bhagavad Gita chanting, when I went to the Dattatreya temple to learn to do puja, and even all the Pandits who taught me, no one ever charged. So why should I charge what I do? If I get an offering or some sort of remuneration from as thanks, okay, but there's no price. Pandits who set prices for funerals and weddings, and when you come to see them to make a guard, you have to walk with a siddha and all these things. And you know, these fellas book their place in hell. Any businessman who continually takes and has not ever given some in charity, also booked. So Chiya Bayasu Kripan Dhanavhanu. He who has and cannot give, feel sorry for them. Also, so Chiya Sudru Vipra Avamani Mukharu Manapriya Jnana Gumani. Pity those who envy others and try to take by force what is not theirs. In short, thief. Feel sorry for thieves and bandits. By every misdeed they perform, they book their own spot. And hell is not a place where you go and stay for any second. You could experience hell right here, friends. You will suffer in time or another lifetime. They said that the punishment is worse, and you know what's the worst of all? Just to cut the whole thing short, I have to come back here and finish this, Salim. Give me an exit to finish this. Come back and finish this katha. The worst of all is if you make your parents' tears fall. There is no sin greater than making your parents cry, because you have no idea what they went through to make you who you are. You make your parents cry, you have hundreds of lifetimes to make up for that. But what you think is the opposite. The greatest blessing that you could have is to see your parents smile. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki जिन्ना माता पिता की सेवा करी. If it is a child grows up that their parent is proud of them every day, that child has served their purpose on earth. So no matter what we think is the lifespan someone is supposed to live, think. Has he left his mark? Yes. Are his parents proud? Yes. Are his children proud? Yes. Has he effected a difference in absolute strangers? Yes. Has he made his friends into his family? Yes. Has he converted even enemies into his friends? Yes. Then, my friends, Sochiya Puni Pati Banchakanari Kutilakahalapri Chakari Sochiya Pat Nidjabratu Pahari Chunahi Garu Ayasu Anuhari. There's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to cry for. Be thankful that we have lived in a time where good souls such as him were around, so we can see how to live, how to tread forward. When someone's life is an example, then you should count that as a blessing. When someone's life is an example, you should count that as a blessing, that you have been there side by side, step by step, to see such greatness, to live among such greatness. You know, there are people who, by their very name alone is being called, people just bend their heads and shake. Some people are a constant disappointment, no matter their skill, their talent, their anything, their money, their whatever, their name alone, when someone mentions so and so is coming, the response is, well, you might wait an hour. This is a very, very busy season, and when Salim asked for me to come today, I was happy because I had no plans. Not because of anything else, but my girlfriend's in the States, so I have no actual plans, no dinner plans. So because of that, I'm free here, so we're safe. And then out of all the days, we had a rehearsal today, and we finished early, and tomorrow is good, so all that. And then all of the pundits are preparing for Shivratri and all these things coming up over the weekend, so everybody's busy, and I'm happy that I could have been able to be here. Another reason I'm very honored to be here with you as well is that when the preparations were being put in place at the NCIC Nagar, our good friend Krishna, who did the sound, via one of the recall, he said, Gan, I need some help with the program. I said, okay. I said, what do you want me to do? He said, let's help with the mix and all these things, look after the board and all that. I said, good. And then I met Randy, who came in with the big thumb truck, good friend of mine. Randy was the last man to do his mixes and all these things. And right then and there, I told Randy, I said, Rand, you were the last man to do all his shows and all that. You know, in 2006 or 7, somewhere there, when they launched the band in Samar, I was his first engineer. When the Bheem's band was born, there were practices up in Takarigua, El Dorado, somewhere there. Ravi Suku was the keyboardist. During those rehearsals is where he met his wife, Kimita. And Bobby Mohan was the guitarist. Raja Ramuta was the bassist. Sul Ramsuk was the drummer. Arti Woodkun was one of the backup singers. Kavita was there as well. And in Samar, rain fell. He was worried. And he called his good friend Starboy, the late great DJ Lalo, to do the sound. I went to all the practices and everything because through my company back then, through MSI Sound, we did some stuff in Nagar for the Rampasad. He said, you with a band permanently? I was like, no. You work with me? I was like, alright. Went to practice. And then Samar, rain fell. It was a sold out show. And I was the very, very first person to work with this band for a few months. And then different engineers always work with him because, not for any reason other than he was so meticulous, he kept using different people to try and get different sounds and different results. So he settled on Randy Sounds, my good friend. So to be there in the beginning and to be there on NCIC's compound that very last day, to stand by the same mixing board I was accustomed hearing his voice with, was a surreal moment. And it is an honor and privilege to join with you today in Satsang in his beloved and glorious name. May his memory live forever. May all his karma be resolved and rewarded accordingly. And if ever he has to continue in another costume here on earth to continue the Leela, I pray to God he's given the same exact voice. No matter what the body is, or wherever he has to come, I pray God will allow us to hear a voice as amazing as his once more. डगर जगत चाहे तू ही रखवाला मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला ओ मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला डगर जगत सारे तू ही रखवाला मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला ओ मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला वृंदावन की कुंज गलियन में आज भी मधुबन की गलियन में वृंदावन में कुंज गलियन में आज भी मधुबन की गलियन में धुंध पे होगे तुझे धुंध पे होगे तुझे कोई ब्रिज वाला मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला ओ मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला चाहे न माने सारी नगरिया मैंने सुनी है तेरे बसुरिया चाहे न माने सारी नगरिया मैंने सुनी है तेरे बसुरिया मैं कैसे मानूं नहीं हो से मालूम नहीं बांसुरी वाला मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला ओ मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला गगर गगर चाहे कोई रखवाला मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला ओ मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला मेरे शान मेरे नंद लाला Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Sage Vishisht in closing. Sage Vishisht in this evening's last verse says, grieve for the householder who doesn't take care of his house. Grieve for those parents. These days it says man in the book, yes, but now it's men and women, who abandon their spouse and children, and they take up a secondary and tertiary house and family. Grieve for those who are at an age where they should renounce things and yet start new businesses, and they start new ventures. In a sense, it means, after a certain age, like pension and thing. When you reach pension age, you shouldn't go and apply to be a foreman and CPAP and take government money. Leave it for some young fella who now want to engineer and then you do that. After a certain age, you shouldn't be holding on to responsibilities that should be given to younger ones who are coming up. Many people who refuse to stay in a supervisory mode. You could stick around, but give others a chance. Feel sorry, and if you need to cry, if you have tears backed up in your system, you want to cry, cry for those who take joy in hurting others, because they have not been able to yet imagine the pain that they will have to go through for that suffering. Feel sorry for those who hurt the followers of God. Christ said, "Blessed are the meek." On the Sermon on the Mount, he said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Bhagavan, Rama's Katha says the same thing. Feel sorry for those who hurt God's children. But the Lord of Kaushal, Sochaniya, Nahi Kausalarao, Bhuana Charu Dasa Pragata Prabhao, Bhayuna Ahayina Abba Hunihara, Bhupa Bharata Jasa Pita Tumhara. O Bharat, your father was a king amongst men and a walking God on earth. Everything that is good was manifest through him, and by his very actions he showed just how well someone can enjoy this life and make living on this earth a joy in itself. He made everybody who came into contact with him happy to meet him. My friends, if we can achieve this, we are serving our purpose here on earth. Bharat, there never was or there never will be again another king such as your father. And I don't have to even mirror the words, but I will anyway. There never was and there never will be another voice like his, another personality like his, the nicest, kindest, most down-to-earth person ever. I've seen performers with quarter his talent. You win one competition, you get bodyguard and driver and all kind of thing. 3 and 4 security, we can't go and say hello. We win. Some people do so little and they think they've done so much, when there's people like Bheem who has done mountains and still stands on the ground with his very own 2 feet. My friends, again, may all our prayers be transposed and transmitted into a blessing he can receive. May all your heart's thoughts and your mind's wishes be transformed into a blessing he can use in the afterlife, and may his soul find absolute rest. May all his good karma be rewarded, and may his not so good karma, by our prayer, be hopefully given into something that can be a blessing in the afterlife. It says in the closing verse, Bidhi Hari Haru Surapati Disinata Baranahi Sab Dasharat Gunaghata Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Indra, and the guardians of all the directions will all relate the stories of your father again and again and again. For as long as mankind exists, they will always speak of how good, how great the king Dashrath was. For as long as there is music in this country, the name of the vocalist will reign forever. He'll be an example that is yet to be followed, and I hope his memory and his work that has been laid down be used to show how it is supposed to be done. Vrindavan Ladilal ki. 10 past 9. च रमापतिं राघवं रामचन्द्रं च रावणादिं च रमापतिं राजीवलोचनं रामं राजीवलोचनं रामं त्वं वन्दे रघुनन्दनं त्वं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय रघुनन्दनं त्वं वन्दे रघुनन्दनं ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय भगवते वासुदेवाय भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते करचरणकृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसो वापराधं विहितमविहितं वा सर्वमेतच्छमस्व जय जय करुणादेव श्री महादेव शंभो जय जय करुणादेव श्री महादेव शंभो जय जय करुणादेव श्री महादेव शंभो कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृति स्वभाव करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि Sukhino Bhavantu, Sukhino Bhavantu. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki, Siyapati Ramachandra ki, Sadguru Maharaj ki, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki, Sadguru Pitandavar Jai Jai. Ram Nam, such a again we apologize for the late start. But we tried to put as much as we could in place, and if time permits, we'll have another day to continue the rest of this katha, if you all wish, and we go from there. Return safely to your houses, to your homes, and in this time and place where drastic measures are causing drastic situations, lock the gate, check it back, lock the car, lock your front door, check it again, and then go and sleep. Make sure you have your neighbors back and all these things. People go to events these days and they stole 15 batteries from cars just somewhere after St. Joseph weekend gone. 15 people couldn't go home because they stole batteries and all these things from an event. So even we have a so we have these entities in the community. Please be on the lookout for them. Tomorrow we'll start at 7, right? She will come earlier in case of traffic and all these things. Auntie Chandra Katwaru, legendary bhajan singer, and also Ramayana Chanta from is it Hardwagon? Hindustan. I was close. I had the H. Hindustan. So she's coming tomorrow with her amazing group. So please, those of you who are here coming every night diligently, your very presence is strength to the family. You have no idea how much it means just to see people show up. The family can't thank you enough. And to all of you who log in, God's blessings to all of you. Tomorrow again, Satsang here in the memory of the great one, the king of our Bollywood industry here in Trinidad and Tobago. Take care, everybody. Sitaram.